Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, before we continue reading, just mention today is the disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, the leader of the Goswamis of Vrindavan, he has given us the amazing Bhakti Shastras, especially the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which Srila Prabhupada he translated and compiled as Nectar of Devotion. Srila Rupa Goswami was personally instructed by Lord Chaitanya into the intricacies of devotional service, uh, specifically at Prayag, at the Dashashvamedh Ghat for 10 days. Lord Chaitanya had continuously instructed Srila Rupa Goswami, and he told him, now you write about these teachings and expand these teachings. He's personally empowered by Lord Chaitanya. Srila Rupa Goswami was personally empowered by Lord Chaitanya to spread the teachings of devotional service. We are followers of Rupa Goswami, Rupanugas. Today is also the disappearance day of Gauridas Pandit. He was a very close associate of Lord Gaurnitai, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So Gauridas Pandit, in Krishna Leela, he was the cowherd boy Subal. And Gauridas Pandit was so attached to Gaurnitai, he had deities of Gaurnitai. And when Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda had personally come to meet him, he served them very nicely. But he was so much feeling in separation from them, he said, no, don't go. You please stay here with me. So Lord Gaurnitai, they saw his love and they said, okay, whichever two you want will stay here and the balance two will go to Navadvip. Because he had the deity, he could see that the deity was Gaurnitai themselves. He cooked amazing feast for them. And two of them stayed with him and the other two went. Every day he used to cook amazing feast for Gaurnitai. And then when he got old, he was still continuing to do the service. Gaurnitai told him, now you're old, don't take so much trouble. He also got upset. He said, okay, and fine, eat today what I've made for you. From tomorrow, I'll give you simple food. He had so much love for Gaurnitai. And one of the days, Gaurnitai, they took the form of Krishna Balaram. And he also took his original form as Subal, and they started playing around like cowherd boys. Few pastimes of Gauridas Pandit. So we pray at the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami so that we may also get some devotion to Lord Krishna. Pray at the lotus feet of Gauridas Pandits. We may also serve Gaurnitai with so much love. So we continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1. We were reading that when Kans, he picked up the sword to kill Devaki, then Vasudev was still very peaceful, very sober, and he tried to pacify Kans. First, he started telling him that, you're going to get sinful reactions by killing a woman. Then he said, your reputation will be tarnished. You're such a great king. By doing this heinous act of killing your own sister on her wedding day, your good name is going to be spoiled. And then he started giving him knowledge also. He's telling him that one who's born has to die. Just as we are taking one step after another, as soon as we take the one step forward, we let go of the previous step. So similarly, the soul keeps changing the body from one to another. So we'll continue reading from the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So that which is spiritual is eternal and that which is material is temporary. Without Krishna consciousness, one's consciousness is always absorbed in temporary things. So we are always conscious. Can never be, well, of course, sometimes, okay, we are given anesthetic or something, then we are in the
Sorry,
unconscious
Shilpa-ji,
state. Ah,
can you please start from the paragraph only? That would be much easier. Like,
okay.
yeah,
The
the
Krishna
Krishna part. Yeah,
consciousness
thank you.
movement therefore offers a process of transcendental activities wherein the mind is fully absorbed in affairs pertaining to Krishna. Okay, so see in the translation, Vasudeva is saying, having experienced a situation by seeing or hearing about it, one contemplates and speculates about that situation, and thus one surrenders to it, not considering his present body. Similarly, by mental adjustments, one dreams at night of living under different circumstances in different bodies and forgets his actual position. Under this same process, one gives up his present body and accepts another. Tatha dehanta prapti. So Vasudeva is saying, when we are dreaming at night, we completely forget our this body and we are taking different bodies at night. We may be doing some amazing things, completely forgetting what body we are in right now, and we take up new bodies. Or even when we are just thinking of something else, maybe something of the past or something of the future, we completely forget our present body. So similarly, at death, the soul just takes up another body. It gives up this body, forgets about this body, and takes up another body. So the Krishna consciousness movement therefore offers a process of transcendental activities wherein the mind is fully absorbed in affairs pertaining to Krishna. Because Krishna says, with our mind, always think of him, engage in his devotional service, offer obeisances to him. So the Krishna consciousness movement is giving us a facility to do this. It's teaching us how to do it so that our mind can be absorbed in Krishna. Because by our mind, we are creating our next body. We heard in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is explaining to King Prachanibarishan that how by our mind, right now, our mind, we are creating our future body, what our body will be like after we give up this body. So the Krishna consciousness movement is giving us a very practical way to absorb our mind in Krishna so that our next body can be a spiritual body. The presence of the soul is perceived by consciousness, and one must purify his consciousness from material to spiritual, or in other words, to Krishna consciousness. Right? We are all spirit souls, we are all conscious. Right now, we are thinking we are the body. We just have to purify our consciousness. Understand, I am spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. That which is spiritual is eternal, and that which is material is temporary. Without Krishna consciousness, one's consciousness is always absorbed in temporary things. So our consciousness always has to be absorbed. Our mind has to keep thinking of something. We always have to keep doing something. If it is not spiritual, we are doing material. And when we are doing spiritual, gradually, we are withdrawing our consciousness from the material. And that is what is wanted. To get attached to Krishna. So we say we want to be detached from the material world. The practical way to get detached from the material world is to get attached to Krishna by hearing and chanting, by having this anxiety that I want to hear about Krishna, I want to chant his names. The more we have this kind of anxiety, the more we can give up our material anxiety. Otherwise, we have so much material anxiety. We are anxious at every moment for material things, materially absorbed. But we just simply need to change it to have this desire for hearing and chanting. for everyone. Therefore, Krishna recommends in Bhagavad Gita 9:34, Man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. One should always be absorbed in thought of Krishna. One should become his devotee. One should always engage in his service and worship him as the supreme great. And one should always offer him obeisances. In the material world, one is always a servant of a greater person. And in the spiritual world, our constitutional position is to serve the Supreme, the greatest, Param Brahma. So in the material world, what actually we are thinking, I'm the boss, I'm independent, I'm not answerable to anyone, I can do whatever I want, you know, we do that. But actually, even if we are not answerable to, but if we analyze, we serve our community, our society, our family, parents, siblings, spouse, children. We, we are always serving. And the service attitude, the perfection of this service is when we can serve God. And that is our Swarup. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. Caitanya Caritamita Madhya, chapter 20, text 108. Is it okay? Any questions or comments? Okay.
Clear. Yeah.
Okay, then going on. To act in Krishna consciousness is the perfection of life and the highest perfection of yoga. So, we have so many goals. We have daily goals. We have so many plans. We have our life plan. We have our health goals. We have our financial goals. Or we may have, social goals. So many. But the perfection of life is to become Krishna conscious, to revive our love for Krishna, to understand that I have a loving relationship with Krishna. That is the perfection of this human form of life. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 6:47, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate dantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. So Krishna wants us to come to this position. Krishna wants us to revive our love for him. The condition of the mind which flickers between sankalpa and vikalpa, accepting something and rejecting it, is very important in transferring the soul to another material body at the time of death. So we see our mind, our mind will say, oh, this is a good situation, I can enjoy. So yes, accept this. And when something is going to be difficult for us, the mind will reject it. No, no, no. There is no sense gratification in this. Leave it. Reject it. Prabhupada is explaining that this is very important of how we are leaving one body and taking up another body. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. Bhagavad Gita 8.6. So Krishna is telling us, he's already telling us, hey, what you think at the time of death, that's what your next destination will be like that. Your next body will be like that. So we may say, oh, well, I will just remember of Krishna at the time of death. It's not going to happen if we don't practice. At the time of death, the body, we are losing control of the body. Our mind is going to be so disturbed. We won't know what's happening. That we may have a very high fever. The organs may be failing. We won't know. So that's why we need to practice throughout our life to remember Krishna so that at the time of death, if we are not able to remember Krishna, Krishna will remember us. Therefore, one must train the mind in the system of Bhakti Yoga, as did Maharaj Ambarish, who kept himself always in Krishna consciousness. Savamana Krishna Padara Vendayo. One must fix the mind at the lotus feet of Krishna 24 hours a day. If the mind is fixed upon Krishna's lotus feet, the activities of the other senses will be engaged in Krishna's service. So like, what's our center? What is our center? What are we working for? Our time and energy. What are we doing with it? So Maharaj Ambarish, what he did, he put Krishna in the center, and all his activities were then focused on pleasing Krishna. If the mind is fixed upon Krishna's lotus feet, the activities of the other senses will be engaged in Krishna's service. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanar Bhaktir Uchyate. To serve Rishikesh, the master of the senses, with purified senses is called bhakti. So what is bhakti?
To serve Krishna with all our senses.
Yeah. Serve Krishna with our senses. That is bhakti. With the tongue chant Krishna's name, with the ears hear Krishna's name. Those who constantly engage in devotional service are situated in a transcendental state, above the material modes of nature. So the pure devotee, he is liberated. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 14:26, Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So Krishna is telling one how to come to the level of Brahman. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying the pure devotee. He's completely engaged in pure devotional service 24 hours a day. So he's not under the modes of nature. He's understood, I am not the body, I am spirit soul. One must learn the secret of success from the Vedic literatures, especially when the cream of Vedic knowledge is presented by Bhagavad Gita as it is. So the Vedas are telling us how to act, what shall we do? And the essence of the Vedas is there in Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to simply hear it submissively and follow. Because the mind is ultimately controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the word apasmriti is significant. Forgetfulness of one's own identity is called apasmriti. This apasmriti can be controlled by the Supreme Lord, for the Lord says, Matasmritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Instead of allowing one to forget one's real position, Krishna can revive one's original identity at the time of one's death, even though the mind may be flickering. Although the mind may work imperfectly at the time of death, Krishna gives a devotee shelter at his lotus feet. Therefore, when a devotee gives up his body, the mind does not take him to another material body. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. Rather, Krishna takes the devotee to that place where he is engaged in his pastimes, mam eti, as we have already discussed in previous verses. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 that by him comes forgetfulness, knowledge, and remembrance. So at the time of death, Krishna helps the devotee to remember him so that the devotee can come back to the spiritual world, to be with Krishna, to have pastimes with Krishna. One's consciousness, therefore, must be always absorbed in Krishna, and then one's life will be successful. Otherwise, the mind will carry the soul to another material body. The soul will be placed in the semen of a father and discharged into the womb of a mother. The semen and ovum create a particular type of body according to the form of the father and mother. And when the body is mature, the soul emerges in that body and begins a new life. So, this is how the transmigration happens. We are going from one body to another. The soul is put into the semen of the father. And then, when there is union, that's how the body of the child is growing because the soul is there. So this is the process of transmigration of the soul from one body to another, tatha dehanta prapte. Unfortunately, those who are less intelligent think that when the body disappears, everything is finished. The entire world is being misled by such fools and rascals. But as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The soul does not die when the body is destroyed. Rather, the soul takes on another body. So here Vasudeva is also telling Kans, it's not that you're going to finish, you're dead when your body is dead. No, you're going to take up another body. That is the law of material nature. So, and how we act now, what our thoughts are now, we are preparing our future body. So why not try to get the best body? And that is the spiritual body. Any comments, questions?
So Vasudev ji is pressing on our thinking man, like where it should be always thinking about Krishna, right? Like because it's a natural process. And if we try to fix it on the lotus feet of Krishna and serve with our all senses, then at least at the time of death, it will be easy for us to remember Krishna and go back to God somehow, right?
Yeah, that's
Mm.
right.
He's giving very deep knowledge. Like I'm seeing every devotee is giving, and this is at the time it's such a difficult situation, right? Just like how Arjun was also in a very difficult situation, and it's a very difficult situation for Vasudev ji. The wife is being held, and he's about to slit the head. Wow.
Yeah. Because Kans is so scared of dying, and that's why he wants to kill Devki. So Vasudeva is trying to pacify him that death is a natural
Mm.
process. Then, of course, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that how, when we fix our mind on Krishna, we can get a spiritual body because this is what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita. Here, Vasudeva is not directly telling Kans about Krishna because he won't be able to listen to
Yeah.
it. So he's
Yeah.
just trying to tell him, don't be so much afraid of death. It's a natural process. He's saying you also are forgetting your own body right now when you're thinking of the past or the future. We may be afraid of death, but actually, when we are thinking of something we did as a child, we will remember that child body. We completely forget this body then. Or when we are dreaming at night, we completely forget this body. So Vasudev has been trying to tell Kans that it's a very natural process. And not that when you die, you are dead. The body is dead, but your soul will take up another material body. Then, of course, Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us how we can get the best body. Anyway, we have to die. Anyway, we have to take up another body. So let's get a spiritual body, as Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. That's how Prabhupada is quoting Krishna's verses in Bhagavad Gita. And then, um, okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, let's stop here then.
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Yeah.
ki